What's going on, guys? Cam Sweet here from the Garage Connection, coming to you with the third part of our sandblaster setup that we have here. I got some good comments from people talking about how they like this with the setup that I got. I wanted to go over the blasting cabinet, all right? The blasting cabinet itself is something that I felt I needed a double length one, and instead of spending multiple thousands of dollars on a larger blasting cabinet, I took two of the Harbor Freight ones, cut out the middle between them, and mounted them together. That's it. Nice and simple. All right. I have not done anything special with the internal workings of them. They still have their drain hoppers down the bottom as intended, and you know, the factory Harbor Freight gloves, the Harbor Freight glass. The only thing that I did after I put them together is I went around with some foil tape and sealed up the gaps just to try to keep down on the dust and the blasting media leaking out. Does it work? 50-50. All right. So we're going to go over a couple other things that I have in my setup here that help me immensely, and maybe it'll help you. So let's get to it. All right, so an important part of any blasting setup is the maintenance of the dust that comes off this unit, all right? Not only is everything that you're blowing out of the gun coming off the unit, but all the paint and rust and everything else is coming off off of whatever you're blasting, and it's getting caught inside of your cabinets. So what I chose to do, and I felt that this was the best way to do it, is I didn't want to run the vacuum hose right into a vacuum with a filter bag. I felt that would be a gross waste of filter media, and I think we could do something better. So I went out and I bought a Cyclone style dust separator. This one happens to be a Dust Deputy by Oneida Air Systems. Harbor Freight has one, just a centrifugal style dust separator. So I have one hose going to the unit itself, and I have another hose going to my vacuum. One point to make with this is you want to use a vacuum that's got some power, and you want to use the bigger hoses. All right, these are the 2.5-inch hoses. You can't get away with those little 1 7/8, 1.5-inch hoses. That's not going to do it. I chose to go with the shop vac that has an extremely quiet motor, probably the quietest motor I've ever heard on a vacuum. I ran a rigid for years, and you rev that thing up, you needed earmuffs. It's loud. So, you know, from here, this hose runs directly into the factory vacuum port that comes on these. Some people reverse the flow and they come out of the big connection for the one for all the makeup air that comes in. I didn't really like that. I use that large opening in the back for my power cords and things like that. So the only other modification that I've made to the dust collection system is the installation of a baffle, which I can show you inside the unit. Okay, so what we've got here is the inside of the blasting cabinet. As you can see, I've got a single door right here, and I have some Harbor Freight LED lighting that runs across the top, the 4-foot strip lights. I find that they provide adequate light to do much of my blasting. What I wanted to point out, at the very end down here, we have my baffle, okay? Now this baffle is just a piece of sheet metal that is riveted to the outside of the blasting cabinet. And in essence, what it does is it makes the blast media get around the bottom of it before it's able to be sucked out by the vacuum. And I have found that this significantly reduces the amount of blast media that gets trapped in my filter. All right, now the last part of this, what I chose to do is mount both of my cabinets on a raised platform with wheels. Okay, so underneath there are casters, and what I found is this height is about perfect, so that way when you're blasting, it's a very neutral position for your neck. You're not craned over looking down, and I found that I'm able to blast for extended periods of time because of this without having too many issues. The wheels is just nice. I can relocate it wherever I want. All right, so there we have it. This is my whole setup right here. The vacuum with the dust collection. We have the blasting cabinet, and we have the Harbor Freight pot blaster. All right. If you have any questions on the pot blaster, I put a video out about that. I also have a video out about the air compressor that I use. So hopefully this video gives you some ideas of things that you want to do and get those projects done, all right? For now, this is Cam Sweet with the Garage Connection.